Had the pleasure to watch this. Continues to prove himself as one of the most promising filmmakers of our time. And if it was up to me, I would keep paired Villeneuve's achievement in this film to The Empire Strikes Back of the modern era. Would highly recommend to rewatch the first movie in order to appreciate the subtleties and foreshadowing better, though it's not completely necessary since the movie is pretty self-contained. More specifically, one of the most prominent and impressive strengths of the movie is how it stands on its own, without relying too heavily on the first part. Of course, for those who really want to enjoy the story, there's no real point in watching the second part without having seen the first one. However, even those who watched it a few years ago and don't remember every little plot detail will be able to catch up very quickly while watching the part 2 and will understand all the important details, even the smaller ones. Non-ideally, even someone who hasn't watched the first movie at all will greatly enjoy this one, as it is very self-contained despite relying heavily on the first movie, an impressive and highly commendable screenplay effort by the writers. Timothée Chalamet delivers a very impressive and charismatic performance, to the point where it seems like this is the role he was born to play. Zendaya also gives a very good performance, with significantly more screen time than in the first movie. Austin Butler manages to be terrifying in the role of the villain. Rebecca Ferguson shines in one of the best performances of the year. And Javier Bardem surprises in a role that sometimes provides the comic relief of the movie. In addition, and actresses who all perform their roles amazingly. Hans Zimmer's score is masterful, just as you'd expect, and one step up from the Oscar-winning and Grammy-nominated score of Peter I. Technical aspects such as VFX, production design, sound, editing, etc. are all top-notch and awards-worthy. The action sequences are absolutely mind-blowing and sent chills down my spine, and the story is absolutely fascinating, continuing to develop characters from part 1 even deeper and introduce new, incredible and intriguing characters. In my personal opinion, the movie is better than the first part in pretty much every aspect. While the first part was excellent, it mainly served as a setup and positioning of the pieces for the sequel. In Part 2, the story reaches its climax, with one of the strongest climaxes seen on the big screen in recent decades, befitting the complex work Frank Herbert wrote many years ago. I believe, and surely hope, this movie will be a major player in the next award season. Below-the-line wins are pretty much guaranteed as of now, but I hope it will get some love in above-the-line categories such as direction, and even best picks the fantasy or sci-fi genre in recent fan of the genre, unless a better competitor will be released later this eligibility period. Maybe it's time for a movie like this to triumph once again. While the movie serves as a great wrap-up to the story introduced in Tostinta 1, in my opinion, it could serve Dune Messiah, which I really hope will get greenlit soon, since I believe it's an historic piece of